Okay, bow our head as an acknowledgement and respect for God. Lord, we thank you today that this afternoon you have brought us here in this gathering. We have all come here, Lord, with one expectation that there is success in each and every being and that you will unify us for a greater goal. Lord, guide and protect us. Allow us to persevere regardless of the obstacles, the restraints. Give us that which you have blessed each and every one of us with, the talents, the skills, and let us persevere in this life that you have given us. In Jesus' name, I do pray.
Thank you. Residents, you may have your seats. The Programs Department of the Bordelais Correctional Facility prides itself in ensuring that our residents get the best that there is to offer. The program, held by Dr. Chaitan and Dr. Alfred, is one of the many activities that we ensure that the residents of the facility get the necessary and mindset for the outer world. Opportunity this afternoon to welcome Mrs. Felicien, acting assistant director of. We have the Chris Felix. We have Mr. Ronald Charles, Education, Alfred, from the Rehab Department, and Miss. Want to welcome each very important graduation. I chose to our speaker last. Of his, this program came residents. He is extremely proud. We hope that the education all that went into the exercise, into the workshops, will aid you in many ways as you reintegrate into the wider society. At this time, I would want you all to join me in giving Dr. Gaius Alfred, our speaker, our facilitator, friend at the Bordelais Correctional Facility, a round of applause.
Thank you, Mr. William, for your words of introduction and for almost giving me an invitation to be adopted as a fixture in Bordelais Correctional Facility. Of course, I'd like to be not close to the bars, though. It's always an honor to be invited to Bordelais Correctional Facility, either to do a presentation or to just listen to others speak. It's just, an honor. I really count it an honor. And of course, there are many reasons why I think so. Sometimes I reflect as when I sit with the residents here. I do some introspection myself. And I tell myself, if somebody had not intervened early in my life, maybe I would have been here. And so I never see you as, any less. I always see myself in you. And I always feel that, where you are, it just be a place to allow you to do some deep introspection so that the best version of yourself can come out. And so that's why I always count it an honor to be here. So I am deeply appreciative of that invitation from Mr. Williams and the administrators of the Bordelais Correctional Facility to be here and to address you, this special August body. Of course, I will keep the introduction that has been made and adopt the protocol that you have already established. And so I want to go right into addressing you, the residents who completed, who persevered and completed the training program that was dubbed Stop and Think. And today you are becoming a Stop and Think graduate. And of course, in a few minutes, you will be a graduate. A graduate is before, and then you become a graduate after this certificate has been conferred on you. And so I think at this point in time, those of you who completed the program, because of the hard work that you put for a number of weeks, I think it's almost 3 months, and for you to stick with the program and to be almost glued to your seats and to come thus far to a point of satisfaction, I think you deserve a round of applause. So ladies and gentlemen, please, let's give them a round of applause. You deserve to be commended. I mean, as I sit and listen to some of you, sometimes being, in-house has its own frustrations. Things don't always go how you would like it to. You deal with your own struggles, and for you to still be able to go through a program and be successful, that shows resilience. This is another indication of the quality of persons that you are. You may not be thinking of it that way, but it takes a man of a certain stature to be able to pursue a goal of improvement, stick with it until it is completed. So I think you really deserve to be commended for this. One of the goals of the Stop and Think program, it is a psychosocial education program. One of the goals was really to help men. Of course, we'd have loved to say men and women, but we know that there'll be another phase for the ladies. But it is to help you who have made mistakes, like me, to rebrand yourself, to regroup again, to start all over again, so that you can rise up to be what God had always intended you to be, a respectful gentleman, one who is, a great contributor to your society, and one person who is able to command the interest of all who interact with you. That's who you were intended to be. Yes, things have happened and you have been kind of distracted a bit, but the important thing is that you get another opportunity to rebrand yourself, regroup yourself, so that you can be the person that God had envisioned for you, the person you were designed to be. So your better days are yet ahead. Your great days are yet ahead. And that was what the program was intended to do, to help you discover yourselves. And you'd recall some of the modules that you did. One of them, for example, help you discover your innate talents. Some of you didn't know that you want to be ministers. Some of you didn't know that you want to be doctors and that you wanted to be lawyers. But as you got the opportunity to take a look to assess yourself, as you took a look to assess yourself, and then to look at what your innate talents are. Remember when you did the description of who you are, what kind of person are you? Are you courageous? Are you loving? Are you kind? Are you friendly? You remember these? These were an attempt to help you discover who you are, not what people say you are, not the labels that other people have put on you, but who you know you are. And then to know some of the careers that you can pursue with the kind of personality that you have and the passion, the inner passions that you have. It was intended to help you discover that. And after you have made your discovery, then the next process was to hone, to groom yourself so that you can rise up and become the best version of yourself. And so, as I think back at what you have done, your enthusiasm, and what you learned, I am very confident that you are poised to who you are desired to be. In fact, I am reminded of the words of Ben Carson. Ben Carson says that true greatness is to discover your passion and to be paid to do what you love to do. Can I repeat this? True greatness is about discovering your passion, who you were designed to be. Everybody, before you were born, God had a design for you. He had a plan for you. And the plan was to make you somebody great and somebody special. God made no mistake. You are not an accident. You were planned in the mind of God. Before your mother conceived you, you were planned. And God's plan was to make you somebody great and somebody special. But to realize that plan, you had to align yourself with God's purpose. And sometimes we make mistakes. We take detours. But let me remind you that this is another opportunity to regroup yourself. And I think Ben Carson captured it well. And if you remember Ben Carson's story, he made a mistake. And his mistake could have cost him very dearly. He could have missed everything. But it gave him an opportunity to stop and think and to reflect upon what the outcome would have been if he had made that fatal mistake. And what happened next? After he discovered his potential and his ability, he groomed himself. He got training. He got opportunities to rebuild himself. And today, he is now one of the greatest neurosurgeons who has ever lived. That's a man who almost spent his life in prison. So I'm saying to you, regardless of the mistake you have made, regardless of what has happened to you, maybe prison might serve a good purpose. And I hear a lot of my friends tell me that. They said, Doc, if I were not here, maybe I would never listen to you. I would never have taken time to do what I'm doing there today. And in my mind, even though I'm not happy that, I have found myself here, and I'm not happy about what has happened, but this is working out for my good. And that's what I believe every one of us should think of here. It's not about what has happened in the past, but this is an opportunity for you to regroup, to reflect, to bounce back again. Remember Dr. Chaitan's favorite quote? He spoke about, remember what he says? Every man is like a what? A money what? A money-making machine. But how much he does is dependent upon his ABC, and that is his attitude, his what else? His behavior and his creativity. So you are great. God has put everything in you to make you great. But for you to realize it, for you to, achieve it, for you to be able to rise up, you have to check your attitude. You have to look at your attitude towards life, your behavior, and then you need to be as creative as you can be. Think about outside of the box. Be very creative. And as you do, you will discover that you are poised, your stage now, you are just poised to move to the highest level of your life, and that your brighter future, your better future is yet to come. You believe that, and it can happen for you. And so I believe what Dr. Ben Carson says. So if you can discover that great talent and ability that you have, and then you groom that talent, and then you get this opportunity to empower yourself, and then you go out and make that contribution in the community, you will find yourself doing your best, because it is going to unleash your creativity. It's going to unleash your creativity. So let me give you two examples of this, and then I want to make my final submission. I was listening to Steve Jobs. Anybody has heard about Steve Jobs? Okay. Now, he's one of those who invented the Apple computer. Okay, he invented the Apple computer. You know what he said? He said that he never completed secondary school education. He never completed the secondary school education. In fact, when he was adopted, because his mother had given him up for adoption because she wanted a girl. Well, first they were poor, but she wanted a girl, and it is a boy who came, and so that led to further rejection, and he was given for adoption. His adopted parents wanted him to do well, so they paid secondary school education. But after a while, he felt that that was not taking him to where he wanted to be. So he dropped out of school. And he told himself that he doesn't want to waste his adopted mother's money, okay, to teach him things that he didn't want to do. And what happened next? He found himself engaged with, persons in business enterprise. And then he discovered something that he liked to do. He loved technology. He loved to deal with machine and equipment. And as he got engaged in these things, he began to discover his potential. He became very creative. And then the idea of the Apple computer was born in his mind. And then he put it into practice, got some assistance from others. And today, you have Apple as one of the finest devices, electronic devices that the world has ever seen. That's a man who dropped out of school. But what caused him to be great? What catapulted him to the stage where he was? He discovered his innate ability. He honed it, groomed it, trained himself in the areas of his passion. That caused him to be very creative and innovative, and he came up with brilliant ideas that the world had never thought about. And today, it landed him in as one of the most, celebrated persons. That's what I'm saying to you. This is not any fairy tale. This is not a make-believe. You can rise up. Once you discover, all great people are discovering the same things. Once you find your passion and you groom it, you hone it, your creativity, your innovation will kick in, and you are going to make a significant contribution to life and to this world that we live in. So do not underestimate what happened for you. Then lastly, people are also discovering that it is not only your passion that matters, but your attitude, your behavior, it matters. There are many great thinkers. There are many great educators. There are many bright minds out there. But some of them are what? They are crooks. Some of them are engaged in all kinds of, dishonoring conduct, and they are soon forgotten. You remember the story that Dr. Chaitan shared with you of this gentleman who was a very great singer. He was about to replace or to take over where Michael Jackson left. All right? But what happened to him? His behavior caused him to lose everything. Everything. And so it is not enough to be creative. It's not enough to discover your passion. It is also important for you to be mindful of your behavior, to be concerned about your character, to be concerned about your morals, to be concerned about moral ethics, how you conduct yourself, how you live, and it is important for you to give attention to being a respectable individual. You don't, and you find yourself losing everything that you had. And that's where the concept stop and think came in. And you would recall what stop and think is. Remember how he enunciated this. Always, not sometimes. What, everybody? What is it, everybody? Always. You must always do what? Stop and think. Because the moment or the day you did not stop and think and you behave in an irresponsible manner, you will end up losing everything you ever had. How many great doctors, gifted doctors who are engaged in unethical practices and they end up losing everything? How many men who had achieved, who had reached the apogee of their career, making millions, but again, indiscretion, doing something that is out of order. And what happened? They lose everything. And I want to just remind you again of what Dr. Chaitan shared with you. Remember the African doctor? You remember that? He was doing very well. He was a millionaire. He had achieved quite a bit, had a great reputation for his practice. But his daughter did something that disrespected him. And without managing his anger, without exercising impulse control, he slapped her so hard that he ended up rupturing one of the key arteries, okay, in her neck. And what happened? It didn't take her too long. Within 8 minutes, she was dead. And what happened? Arrested him, went to prison, had to spend a number of years there. And what happened to his career? Everything went down. Everything went down. So it is not enough to be passionate. It's not enough to pursue your dreams. It's not enough to reach at the apogee of your career. It is also important to be discretionary. It is important to have impulse control. It is important to control yourself, to understand your values. Okay, your morality is important. Character is important. It is important to watch what you say and what you do. Even if you appear to be provoked, you have to learn to manage yourself so that you do not act irresponsibly and lose everything that you have. And you're not supposed to, it is not just once or twice you must be doing that. You must always be on guard. Always be on guard. Because the moment you forget, the moment you are out of control, that very day, you can lose all that you have. So I want to urge you not only to receive this certificate as a significant milestone in your life, but to put what you have learned into practice until it has become a part of you. So I close with, I do not remember who wrote the quote, but I was a little boy. I must have been about 15 when I read the Reader's Digest from the British press. And I saw a quote that caught my attention, and it has been an inspiration for me. And this is what it says. It says you must re-earn what has been delivered to you so that it can become yours. You must re-earn what has been delivered to you so that it can become yours. Even if you came from a brilliant family, you have the acumen, you have what it takes, you have the brain power, you have the intelligence. If you sit on it and never put it into practice, you would be a potential giant, but you would never be one. You have to re-earn what was given to you. You have to hone it. You have to practice it, and then it will become yours. So it is not enough to know things. It is not knowledge that is the issue. It is wisdom. Wisdom is knowledge put into practice. That's what matters here. Not just what you heard, but you must put it into practice. Of course, in here you are in a controlled environment. But you need to know that one of these good days, you may have the opportunity to be reintegrated in your community. And these lessons that you have learned here, as you put it into practice in your interaction with your colleagues and in your interaction with your supervisors, as you put it into practice, it will become a natural part of you and will serve you in good stead. It will land you into places that you had never envisioned. So re-earn what was delivered unto you so that it can become yours. I trust that God will grant you a great future as you look forward. God bless you and have an enjoyment.
Thank you. I think it deserves a round of applause. As we move on, I would call on Mr. Mervyn Moise just to give a brief on what the course or the workshop has meant to him.
Good afternoon, everyone. First, again, I want to put your hands together for Dr. Alfred. Yes. And also, let us give ourselves a big round of applause for completing this program. I must say that it's a privilege being here. You know, when I was asked by my unit officer to be a part of this program, I did not hesitate because, you know, being on the unit and sometimes getting the opportunity to come out take some air. But then I realized that coming here and hearing Dr. Chaitan was not about coming and just take air. No. On his very first day, you know, I was just captivated. Listen to this man. And in the manner and the concept that he used, you know, actually making the points. I tell myself, you know something, Moise? Yes, this is no coincidence. This is your time, your chance. Sit, listen, and grasp and understand. And I must say that I have not regretted. You know, I am just, you know, elated that we completed this program. And I have learned. And, you know, it was motivating, inspiring, captivating. And it has done me a whole lot of good. I mean, I have learned things about myself that I didn't even know. And especially, when persons seems to look down on you, that stigma attached. You understand? We never allow, the opinions of one or two persons to determine who you are. Unlike, Dr. Chaitan always said, the ABC, our attitude, behavior, and our creativity has a lot to do with us moving forward in life. And I must say, again, I am well pleased with what this program has done for me. I have learned a lot. And each and every one of us here, if we apply what we learned in this program to our daily lives, we would reap the benefits and we would reach the stars and not the bars. So let us give ourselves a round of applause again. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Moise. Give Mr. Moise a round of applause, please. Reach for the stars, not the bars. Beautiful. Well said. I think I can conceptualize. We have a great poet there, a great gentleman. Wonderful. Great things have happened behind those walls. And Bordelais Correctional Facility is pioneering and ensuring that the residents who leave this environment will be a better individual who will reach for the stars and not for the bars. Thank you very much, Mr. Mervyn Moise. With no further ado, I will call on Miss Stevens to come and join me up here. Also, Dr. Alfred. I just want all of us to know that we are being live streamed, and Dr. Titan is actually on board with us. I just want to extend our heartfelt thanks to him for a job well done, and pray that the Lord continues to bless him as he continues marvelous work. A round of applause for Dr. Chaitan.
First, we have Met. Round of applause. Clinton Gilbert. Kent Cauldron. Joshua Dillard. Thank you, Dr. Alfred. Alphonse Antoine. Peter Thomas. Ricky Andre. Alpha Dolcy. Colonel Alexander. Neil Henry. Fons Alet. Thank you very much, Dr. Alfred. We'll now call on Ms. Felicia to hand over some certificates. Next, we have Kim John. Francis Saint Romain. Magillan Joseph. Desmond Larish. Gerald Dolo. Junior Herman. Claudia Senfree. Fanis Alcid. Robin Hippolyte. Peter Philip. Zacchaeus Leon. Mervyn Moy. Aaron Maffrey. And Malan Obert. Yes.
Want to thank Dr. Alfred and Ms. Felicia for facilitating. This is a copy of the certificate. The original certificate will be placed on your files. So we gave you all a copy, but the original certificates will be placed on your file. This certificate is very important. When I heard Dr. Chaitan and Dr. Alfred spoke of the benefits of those certificates, I was happy to note that you all are going to get something that will be placed on your file. And when you leave this environment, it is something that you can take and present that holds credibility. So once again, I think you all should give yourselves a round of applause. A job well done. And on behalf of the director, the executive staff, and by extension, the Bordelais family, which includes civilian and correctional officers, I want to congratulate all of you for the hard work, the effort, the time that was placed into it. The rewards reach for the skies, not the bars. I will call on Correctional Officer Miss Stevens just to do our closing remarks.
Good afternoon to all. I would like to thank you, Mr. Alfred, for your time, for the days, and should I say weeks, that you poured into this program. Also to Dr. Chaitan. Thank you so much, Dr. Chaitan. We appreciate all of the time that you gave the Bordelais Correctional Facility. Thank you to all of the residents who attended. We really appreciate your patience, your time, and your listening ear. And we hope that what you learned over the weeks with Dr. Chaitan and with Dr. Alfred will go a long way with, in terms of your behavior, your attitude, the ABC. What are the ABCs? Attitude, behavior, and creativity. Yeah, so thank you so much for your time. Thank you to GVD, Great Visions Design, for your time also. And thank you to the assistant directors and all the officers who are present here this evening. Thank you very much.
With that being said, I want to officially close this gathering and inform all of you that some wonderful eats is placed at the back there on behalf of Miss Alfred, the rehab team, for you guys. Once again, thank you very much. Thank you, GVD. Thank you, Vitus. Thank you, guys. Reach for the skies, not the vast.